Hey guys, it's Cameron with Emerson House Buyers. I hope you guys are doing well today. Last week we had a question regarding some financing. It was, how did you learn the finance part of buying properties? Do you have any book suggestions? So the book that I mentioned in the video is great for learning how to finance. It's the Investing in Real Estate with No and Low Money Down by Brandon Turner. The other, and I'll walk through all sorts of things. I mean, it is a lot of information. I mean, it's not that bad of a read. The other one is the actual Bigger Pockets website. So you can get on there, create a profile totally free, and ask questions through the forums. I think there's like 300 and some thousand real estate investors on there, or at least people involved in the real estate industry. So a lot of people with a lot of knowledge. The other way is my mentor. So when I first started out, that I had that guidance to allow me to say, he said, well, you could do this or this. But the majority of it, he actually hadn't done some of the owner financing and bits and pieces that I've done. So it's a lot about, testing things out and educating yourself. So the other piece, since since I can answer that question pretty quickly, what I wanted to go through is maybe some financing strategies. So how are you going to finance your properties? And there seems to be one, two, three, four, five, six, 7 ways to buy your properties. The first one's a conventional one. Everybody, or at least most people, are familiar with that. Purchase price, you're going to pay 20% of that. That is conventional. So that's the downside. What's the upside of it? Lowest interest rates are usually with conventional. 90 some percent of the time, you're going to get your lowest interest rates with your conventional financing. So you got to come out 20% out of pocket of the purchase price, but you're going to get that long-term cheap financing. Hard money is the other one. I mentioned that before. If you don't know what hard money is, go back and watch that other video I put on hard money. So what is the benefit? You pay up to 75% of the market value. So if you buy a $100,000 house for 50,000, they'll loan you all that money. They'll loan you up to 75,000 on that property. And you have closing costs in there and things to take in consideration, but by and large, take 75% of the property, and then you're going to have some closing costs in there, and that's it. But downside of that is it's expensive. 12%, anywhere from 12 to 18, and your points, which are that's just 1% of the loan amount. That's 1 point. So if you have a $100,000 loan, it's going to be $1,000. That's 1 point. So they charge 2 to 5 points up front. So it's just expensive. Hard money is expensive. It's very lucrative, but it's expensive. So you got to make sure the deal's right. The other avenue is private money. So if you have a rich relative or friend or somebody that you've met, maybe at a networking event, and they have a lot of money and it's earning, a 1/4% in the bank, you say, hey, why don't we work something out where I'm paying you 8, 9, 10, 12%, no points, no nothing. I mean, it's a great deal for both of you. So it's very flexible too. So it's totally up to whatever you guys want to agree with. Whoever is going to be lending you private money. There's no hard and fast rules on that. It's totally whatever you guys agree with. So it's very flexible. That's a big benefit. The only downside is typically private money, you're not going to be able to get it starting out. I mean, nobody's just going to loan you $100,000 to go buy a piece of property if you don't have anything underneath your belt. So it's sometimes difficult to get. I mean, I know I wouldn't trust somebody who's new with 100 grand or 200 grand to do a rehab or buy a property. So it's just difficult to do. And like I said, you need experience. It's not impossible, but you need some experience. The other one is partnerships. So the 3 things you can offer in any business transaction are money, time, or experience. Those are the only 3 things you can offer. So if you don't have money and you have a lot of time, you know what you're offering. You don't have any experience, you're offering time. If you don't have any of those 3, there's nothing you can add value to the transaction. But if you have a lot of money and don't have any experience, go out and find somebody who has a lot of deals, who has the experience, who's done them, and boom, there you go. You can finance all your transactions. Or you have a lot of deals coming in, you kind of know what's going on, you've done them before, and you need some money. Find somebody that's got the money. Those ways of the synergy basically between those three, I guess, pillars. Those are how partnerships are built: time, money, experience. So those three things in a partnership. And the downside is you're going to need something to trade, right? Like I said, if you don't have any time, any money, any experience, you have nothing to bring to the deal. So that's kind of the downside. The upside, like I said, is there's some great synergy. If you got a lot of money in the bank and you can go out there and find somebody that's buying deals, you guys can really make a lot of money together. Another way I mentioned it before is the subject to. So assuming somebody's mortgage. You guys have to excuse me for a second. Sorry about that. Get a little something in my throat there. Subject to. Sorry, these aren't edited. I'm not that savvy yet, so this what you see is what you get. Subject to. Hugely beneficial in the fact that you can bring little to no money out of pocket. You just take over the loan, you pay some of the closing costs, and you can have that negotiated if you want, and take over the mortgage and start making payments on the seller's behalf. So it's very lucrative. It doesn't count against your loans. It's all in their name. It's all in the seller's name. It is a fantastic strategy if you can get somebody to use it. The only downside is the mortgage company could call the note due, meaning that if you assume Wells Fargo or JP Morgan Chase's loan, and they say, well, hold on, this isn't the same person that was paying before the seller. This is somebody else. This is some investor, and they'll call the note due, meaning that you have to pay the whole balance now. So you either have to go get that refinanced and pay them off, or you got to come up with the money. So it's a lot of investors. I've never had a note called due on me. I haven't been in it that long, but a lot of people say that they have, maybe once or never. So it's not common, but it is a risk. The other way is owner financing. So owner financing is another fantastic strategy where basically, let's just say somebody's got a $100,000 house, they have it paid off, they want to sell it. Well, instead of, and they want to get some money out of it, you could tell them, hey, I'm going to offer you 80 grand. And what we'll do is I'll do a 5% note over 30 years, amortized 30 years. And you don't tell them in 5 years, we can do a 5-year balloon. I think that's still legal with Dodd-Frank. You can do a 5-year balloon and show them with the interest that they're actually going to end up making $100,000. And it doesn't, they don't have to pay all those taxes up front. They're going to have a huge taxable gain if they sell a $100,000 property and it's free and clear. Huge tax implications. So they're only going to be walking away with $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, depending upon their tax bracket. So it is another strategy where you can have, a loan not in your name, and it's you can put it in the LLC or you can have it in your name, but they're usually not reported. So when you go to get another loan, conventional financing or what have you, it's not going to show up. The only downside is they're not common. So things like this are just not, they're not out there everywhere. That's really the only downside. I really can't see another downside to that. They're difficult to find. People want their money now. They don't want to trust you to pay them every month and have to come and foreclose on the property. But if you can find it, it's fantastic. I offer it to a lot of the sellers that I talk to who are older. Tell them, hey, you really want this money, or would you like a $1,500 payment every month? And they that's what they want, the cash flow. And the other way, the last way to buy property, is cash. So it's kind of like private money where you buy it with cash and then you can refinance it. But if you're just paying all cash for a property, it doesn't, it depends on the situation, but it's really easy. I did a cash deal last month and it was fantastically easy. It's the paperwork is minimal. It's great. But it's high risk, right? I mean, you have you have this whole amount of property financed, paid for in cash. So if the market turns, you got everything tied up in this. Whereas if you put 20% down on a property, or you have a few $1,000s out of your pocket, and the market turns south, and you lose a bunch of equity, you can always just walk away and only have a few $1,000 in it. So you got a lot of money in that, very susceptible to market changes. Guys, I think those are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 if you include cash, but 6 ways to finance and you have cash. And like I said, I mentioned before, the books were the Investing in Real Estate with Low and No Money Down by Brandon Turner, and then get on Bigger Pockets on the forums. Get a mentor somebody that's doing what you want to do. Pick their brain, pick somebody that's doing exactly what you want to do, find them, go to a meetup, get on Bigger Pockets, ask the stupid questions. I've asked them before. I look like an idiot several times, but then I know, and I don't ask the question anymore. I know the answer, and you can help somebody else out. So, guys, if you have any other questions specifically about some of these financing strategies, we talked about hard money. I can go into more detail. If you guys want something else on those, let me know. I'll put a video out and try to help you guys out the best I can. So thanks. If you guys found this video helpful, please share it with somebody. Help people out. Pass the information along. And like I said, comment. I'm here to help. Hope all is well, guys. Thanks for tuning in.